Well, it seems like the final nails to the coffin are being put in place for the end of empire and commonwealth, as Barbados and other countries are Queen Elizabeth as the head of state.
You're crazy. Am I? Yes. Am I? Yes. Am I?
So, Barbados is the latest colonised country to denounce Queen Elizabeth as head of state and become a republic.
55 years after gaining independence from the UK, Barbados cuts its last formal tie to its former coloniser. The Royal Standard flag lowered and replaced by the presidential standard, marking the end of the Queen's reign on this island and a new future under a Barbadian-born head of state appointed by the Barbadian Parliament.
Which, in my opinion, should have been done 150 odd years ago.
We think it is time you recognized that you are masters in someone else's home. It is time you left.
However, just because the helm of the ship has changed,
Sounds like it's not going to be easy to find someone to take her place.
I already have.
doesn't necessarily mean that they own it outright, and Bajans should be very wary before celebrating.
Centuries in the making, this is one party for the ages. Long known as the Caribbean's Little England, but no more. Barbados is going off on its own and wants the world to know.
And take caution to who the replacements are and who those replacements represent.
As you can see here, I enjoy building small shrines to certain special white people.
As the bootlicks are very much in play here, vying for positions of power.
What was very interesting last night is that the president's first honour that she conferred was to Prince Charles, gave him a Freedom Award, which some found controversial.
Prince Charles will attend official events to mark the occasion, a controversial move for some.
And will just as easily sell out the people and undermine the people from outside instruction, like in, say,
Chinese lenders have rejected Uganda's request to renegotiate a toxic clause in the $207 million loan used to expand the airport in the capital. The loan was contracted in November 2015, and at the time the Ugandan government waived international immunity, exposing the airport to a future takeover without international protection.
Therefore, lost the airport. But not only did they lose the airport, they also lost, let's say, land and apparently whatever else the Chinese could get their grubby little hands on, like, for example, the minerals and resources and so forth and so on.
Would-be shoppers travelled from faraway places, such as China.
And this all from stemming from putting in debt.
You know what the oldest trick in the book is?
Which, in my opinion, is the new tactic for colonisation.
The African Union headquarters was built in 2012, but it was not paid for by any African nation.
The impressive new headquarters of the African Union, entirely funded by the Chinese government.
This building was a $200 million gift from the Chinese government. It was designed and built by Chinese firms with Chinese money. And yes, the servers were installed by Chinese engineers, who, it appears, left an intentional backdoor into the servers so that they were easily accessible.
As seen in other African countries where the Chinese are building infrastructure.
This train in Kenya. This railway system was a $3.6 billion project, the most expensive infrastructure project since Kenya's independence, and it was mostly entirely paid for by a giant loan from China's state-run bank. So it was financed by China, designed by Chinese engineers, and then built by Chinese construction firms that sent Chinese workers to hire locals and manage the project. And now it's a Chinese company that actually runs the thing. If you ride this train, you're gonna see all of the safety announcements and all of the documentation in Chinese, in Mandarin. It is very clear who financed and built this thing. It looks like China just parachuted in and plopped this thing down in Kenya. And now Kenya has billions of dollars of debt that they have to pay back to China eventually. In fact, 72% of all of Kenya's debt is owed to China. There is no such thing as a free gift in international relations. Everything has strings attached.
Whilst teaching the locals to speak Mandarin, to go along and get along with the program.
Today I want to say something that is very crucial on how the Chinese is going to conquer Africa. And this is a very tactical that Chinese is going to use. Africa, we are talking about Africa uniting. That it means that in order to we Africans to unite, we need to have a common language. And many people suggest that Swahili must be a common language for Africans. Today we have seen that the Chinese have started teaching Mandarin in our schools, in our universities. If you look the block of Africa, or if you look at the continent of Africa, we are divided into several languages. And these languages make us difficult to communicate. For instance, there's some countries who is French speaking. It is difficult for them to speak English. So it is difficult for French speaking country to communicate with the Portuguese speaking country. It is difficult for the country who is speaking English to communicate with the country that is speaking Portuguese or speaking Arabic. So you see how Africa we are divided. So the Chinese have seen this opportunity that they need to teach African people their language as the European did before.
So like I said, and for all the citizens of Barbados, be very wary of who's driving your ship now.
The white minority, by and large, still controls the economic direction. They still have the wealth.
As I honestly believe that whoever's going to be in charge from now on, the head of state, whoever it is, will, I would say, be handpicked by outside influences and be put there, as a shill.
I've been very impressed with you over these past few weeks. I think we would make a good team.
Thank you, sir.
And that ends it for today's video. And whether you agree or disagree, don't forget to leave a comment in the comments below. And also, like, share and subscribe. I'm out. Peace.
Yes. Am I? Yes. Am I? Yes.